So recently, the most inspiring thing that I see is that a lot of people who are working in their business, meaning that they are owners of their business, they started to create certain technologies and automations that might help their business to grow. And the best examples of that is some manufacturing companies who are working with their customers, for example, in services where they provide the maintenance of certain hardware, meaning that the company should create a certain hardware maintenance, or let's say go through the certain hardware maintenance every year or every 6 months, and people start to create or attempt to create automations, whether they start to create a certain stock that they assign to a customer, meaning that once customers send a certain product for the maintenance to this service company, and this customer began their service relationship. So hardware sometimes is a subject for calibration, and sometimes every 6 months you want to calibrate your hardware. And you can win the business if you send the due dates to your customers. So you are the company who maintain this kind of services, and every 6 months or every 2 years or every year you expect to have certain hardware to be accepted at the service point. There you have brick and mortar. For example, that's a scaling goods that has to be calibrated. You notify your customer whether there is a certain weeks or months, or maybe 1 month is your services. If your services takes, for example, 2 weeks, you might notify appropriately in the time so they can receive their goods in a due time. Because sometimes what is happening with these partners is that they have to perform a certain maintenance, or let's say certain things at the location in some constructions, and they have their certification or calibration of their hardware expired, and what they want in fact is find the nearest location and perform these things at the point immediately, as soon as possible, in the next 24 hours, the next day 48 hours, which makes you lose this customer, because if you made that notification in advance, they took care of that in advance, you might have additional hardware and maintenance. So you start to question whether you want to go that direction in your business, and you discovered an AI tool that might help you. It might be Replit or Lovable, and it's totally viable solution for you. And if you don't have the preliminary programming skills as a business owner, or as a small business owner, or as a project manager, or a person who plays around, it's totally viable to play around and create it. There's a high probability that you won't be capable of delivering the final state of the product in the environment, in the production environment. That might be an option. However, there is another option also might be, where you have implemented everything, you consider it as how it's supposed to be. Some features might not work, and at this point you can come and you can find any development team or company, and they might finish the product for you. And this is a regular thing that me and our company, we are very welcome to, because what was happening, like the companies like ours, we have the most joy of delivering products. And if you have created the product 80% ready, but this kind of percentage doesn't make real sense, because we never know what is the definition of 100%. Like 100% is every feature is working. When you have 80% readiness, what does it mean? Like 80% of the features are working, but like it's not totally a working product. And it's difficult to say there is 100 features and 80 of those features are working. In reality, even test coverage is something that is a subject for discussion. For example, 80% of the code base is covered with the tests. You never say 80% of features are covered with the tests. Well, maybe you said sometimes, but it depends really on how those features are structured and are they part of the customer journey mappings. But at the end of the day, you have created your product that partially or totally solves your pain, and the only problem is that you cannot finalize it. It's not a problem. You just go and you just find a team who can do it for you. Previously, the biggest problem was that the business owners or product owners, they weren't able to formulate what they want. And I suspect they weren't able to do that because they didn't know how it might look, what might be the option of a certain implementation. And this AI solutions enabled them to play around And many of them who have coding experience or development experience, they even might deploy a working solution. Maybe there are cases when people didn't have any coding skills, they have deployed the final solution. I'm sure there are cases. I'm just not working with them because our help there is not necessary, because people made everything themselves. And our strongest side, I would say, ours and company like ours, the strongest side that we are taking, or let's say we are giving time to the product owner. For us, AI is not dangerous because it also enables us to deliver faster. And the initial problem that people have, the initial problem is that they want to outsource any kind of efforts. Even those are like development skills or AI coding skills, it doesn't matter for product owners. Product owners want time. They want to be free to do something that generates more money for them. And coding historically wasn't the best thing for product owners to generate money, because the product itself has to be developed and the product has to be competitive. And when we have such a big competition nowadays, when everyone can leverage AI to increase the team capacity and deliver more features, everyone has to take care about products. Everyone has to think how to make a competitive product. And the speed and pace of development is more critical today because, let's say, but maybe not only pace of developers is critical right now. It's also the pace of product managers critical right now. How fast product can make a decision what to build. Because now we can triple our speed. Now we can deliver faster. But can business adapt? Can business create those features? Because on the other hand, so on the first side, I started with example when the successful offline businesses and their owners started to play with AI in order to create a solution that can leverage some aspects of their business, that can create automation that will speed up certain parts of services, acceptance of the services, notifying their customers, like they can do that. But on the other hand, people who started to use GPT to create product requirements are in danger, I think. Product requirements that are written by ChatGPT or any other autocomplete, they lack of reason. And ChatGPT thinks everything is a great idea. They consider every feature is a great idea, every feature has a competitive advantage, and they cherish you and they force you to be satisfied. Let's say they put you in a position when you want to be satisfied with your ideas. And this is dangerous because people come with ideas to implement, and those ideas doesn't usually make sense. For me, it's better to see the person who worked with Replit, Lovable, and they brought this solution to our hub to finalize it and to release, and the solution actually solves the problem and they are sure it will work, rather than people who are bringing the ideas of ChatGPT to review and implement. Because what happens right now is that people create 15 pages long reads where they try to describe features such as Stripe integration, authentication with Supabase, MongoDB data schemas, like they do all of this, but it was never complicated. It was never complicated to design a database for the startup. Well, you will argue there are technical or technology startups that is very difficult and it's very tough to organize the database design and create database design, and I agree, database design is an art. It always was clear that database design is complicated. But for most MVPs, we have 5 CRUDs, 2 tables, and 1 authentication integration. That might be a Supabase, that might be Auth0, Okta, that might be Keycloak, but at the end of the day, it's not a challenge. Authentication was never a challenge, and it won't be a challenge. Maybe it can be a challenge when we want to run it in a hybrid environment, so we have to run authentication equally on-premise and in cloud, on-premise protected with VPN and without access to the internet. But again, those are specifics. Generally, 90% of the projects, or maybe 8% of the projects, they are not rocket science. They are very straightforward, and most of the time we do the UI, we do the UX that is appropriate for the industry, and we render a couple dozen maybe or dozens of CRUD operations, and that's it. There might be solutions, like there might be a technical landscape that would require experience, and there might be difficult messaging brokers, and there might be difficult infrastructural solutions, but again, ChatGPT bringing all this information doesn't help the product. They kind of giving the false information to the product owner that everything is straightforward and simple, and the only thing is to build it as soon as possible and the product is solved. However, the biggest problem is the product creation. And again, so first category of the product managers is using Lovable and using Rapid and creating solution that someone can or even they can finalize. Another aspect is that people creating this list of requirements that sometimes do not make any sense, and they send those requirements to the companies such as ours, and they want to build something that again doesn't make really. So why we don't like this? Why sometimes we refuse to work with that? It's not about money, because thankfully ChatGPT charge, or let's say provide the estimate very high. So people who consult with GPT what that would cost usually have a meaningful estimates there, and it usually makes sense and we can work with those estimates. But the problem is that people don't have vision. So product owners who use ChatGPT to outline the features, the feature requirements, they don't have vision. That means they cannot grow the product. That means we don't want to work with a product that won't grow, because every product can be implemented. Like again, MVP does not require a huge experience, or let's say it doesn't require a huge or difficult implementation. What it requires is a great and right vision from the product owner. This is why our team or any other team would prefer to work with the person who has their vision and want to grow their product, and they want to get some part of the existing market, or maybe sometimes perhaps create a new market. But we never want to work with someone for 6 weeks and then never talk again because this product was a failure. Because for us, 6 weeks projects is probably nonsense, it's nothing. We want to work for years with certain customers. We want to increment, we want to implement MVP. And our goal there is to implement MVP with what they can start earning money. And as soon as they start to get some income, our goal is to help them with the features that will give them ability to grow in more, to get more customers, to win more market, and eventually grow the team to a certain degree when there will be a problem with the roadmap, with the backlog. As soon as team capacity is eating the backlog through and product managers are not able to generate new ideas, this is a clear sign that we want to reduce the size of the team, or even put the team on the maintenance, because now we want to solve the product questions and the direction where we go. So this video was about how happy I am having AI today. AI really helps in development. AI tries to make some help with the product requirements, but I didn't see any good examples of where AI came up with a good product yet. Maybe that's because I didn't see all the prompts, all the answers. Maybe like somewhere we have a product that was suggested by AI, and that's great. I wanted to share those two aspects, and see you soon. Bye bye.